Hey everybody, this is your Professor David Britt. Welcome to the degree program and welcome again to MSOM 600, Graduate Writing and Research. Again, on behalf of the faculty and staff here at Charleston Southern, I wanted to welcome you to the program. I want to tell you a little bit about this class and what you can expect over the next 7 weeks as you jump into graduate studies. First of all, I wanted to give you an explanation on why did we develop a course on writing and research. Good question, right? Why are you starting out doing this in a graduate level study? Well, first of all, graduate level studies is significantly different than undergraduate studies in a lot of different areas. First of all, graduate studies is much more research focused. It focuses much more on exploration, discovery, understanding than it does simply getting facts and figures and repeating those to a faculty member or to a professor. We decided to put this course as the lead course because, quite frankly, about half of our students have never had an online class before. And then for many of our students, it's been a long time since they have actually written a paper. And so we thought that this would be a great place to start to provide a foundation for you to be able to move forward from. Writing is very important. My background is not in higher education. My background is in corporate business. And so I do not approach this class from an academic perspective, except, of course, there are some academic things that we have to do. APA is there regardless of whether we want it to be or not. But I approach this much more from a clarity of communication perspective. And by that, I simply mean regardless of what you're doing in your career, whether you're doing an academic approach or whether you're just writing a business proposal for your supervisor, you need to be clear in what you're doing. And so part of my goal in this class is to help you become much more clear in your writing, have your format and your flow such that you're walking the reader. And this reader may be your boss, it may be a lender who you're looking to get a loan from, it may be someone else that you're just trying to get them to say yes. And so I approach this from a clarity perspective. I approach it from how can we as business folks, as professional people, get people clarity so that they can say yes to our proposals. So keep that in mind as you continue throughout this course. I mentioned this earlier in the welcome video as well about the Start Here section. So you've got to go through the Start Here. You've got to mark reviewed on all of those. You've got to take that quiz before you're going to be able to see any of the content for each week or module in the course. And so make sure that you do that. If you have any question about that, if you're not able to see or you're not clear, history tells me that you haven't gone through the Start Here section. So please do that or contact me and I can help walk you through that. The other thing that's going to be important, make sure you read the announcements. I talked about that earlier. And then go through the learning modules. Each learning module will have a series of different things, and they're going to be consistent throughout not only this course, but in future courses as well. So you're going to have a section called Read and Study. This will be the textbook readings. It will be the lecture components. It will be supplemental material that the professor puts into the course to help you provide a foundation for the overall studies. And then you're going to have a section called deliverables. That just simply means what you got to do and what you got to turn into the professor that week. And so the deliverables, you're going to have discussion forums. Think of discussion forums this way. When you had an on-ground class in your undergraduate studies, you probably had a professor at one point or another who said, what I want you to do is put your desks in a circle and talk about this topic. Well, think of discussion forums as the online equivalent of put your desk in a circle and talk about this topic. So make sure that you understand the timing on those. Make sure you understand the due dates. I have a separate announcement on those. I also talked about those in a prior video as well. So just make sure that you meet those deadlines. You're going to have short answer questions, and what that will do, that will review some of the key concepts that you read from that week. And so I'm asking you to to tell me about those, to provide your answers to the short questions that I have. And then also, as you begin to write papers, your papers will benefit from the knowledge that you gain and the answers that you give in the short answer section. So these short answers will be in a Microsoft Word document, and make sure that you save that and then upload it so that I'll be able to view those. Sometimes students just type those directly into the module. I don't like that. Make sure that you save it as a Microsoft Word document, not a PDF, Microsoft Word, and then upload those so that I can see them. And then each week you're going to have a test that'll have, I think, from 5 to 10 questions or so, where you'll review the key concepts for that week. And then finally, you're going to be writing a paper. Now, in Module 1, module just simply means the same thing as weeks, means the same thing as lessons. So anytime you see module, we just call it Module 1. Module 1 is the same as Week 1, Lesson 1, so they're used interchangeably, but we call it module. The first module, you're going to be giving me a writing sample. So you're going to be writing a paper. I've given you a topic that I want you to write about. Now you're going to stay with this paper the entire 7 weeks of the course. So each week you're going to be improving that paper based upon the readings and the learnings that you have that week. And so whenever you get your paper back from me week 1, if you get it in on time and everything else, it's going to be the easiest perfect score you've ever gotten. Because again, I'm asking you to give me a sample so that by the time we get to lesson 7 and we've worked each week to improve that paper, you're going to look at it and go, oh my goodness, I can't believe the difference between Module 7 submission and Module 1. Now, hear me on this. Each week, I'm not going to talk about every single thing, nor am I going to correct everything in your paper. I'm going to only correct those things that we talked about that week. And so I talk about that in the instructions for each assignment. And then also in the announcement, there is a long announcement that says, what am I going to focus on from a grading perspective in each module? So I do expect you to correct the things that I talked about the prior week and that I've noted. But then each week, rather than, again, have you have to drink out of a fire hose and fix everything each week, I focus on smaller components of that so that by the time you get to week 7, the paper is going to look fantastic, okay? And then, by the way, when you get to the paper in week 7 and you submit it, it's going to be 25% of your grade. So it behooves you to correct your papers each week as you submit them, okay? And so, again, same paper each week. You're going to be living with your paper for 7 weeks. All right? And then finally, I just want to give you some tips on what I value. I always used to tell myself when I was in courses, man, I wish I knew what the professor really valued, and that way I could focus on that. Well, I'm going to tell you, okay? Submit things on time. Do not be late, okay? In corporate business, if someone was late, they didn't get the deal. They didn't get the proposal approved. They didn't get the yes. So if you're late, you're just in tough shape. Now, I understand that life happens. And when life happens, don't tell me after the fact. Tell me as soon as you know that those things happen. So I'll be able to work with you on those things. So no surprises, okay? I like students who are not too proud to contact me. All right? Online does not give you an excuse not to contact me. Nor does online give me an excuse not to contact you, okay? Just because you're in whatever city you're in and I live in Dallas, Texas, does not mean that we should not communicate. And so please reach out to me. Now, the easiest and best way to contact me will be via email. Bounce me a quick email, and I'm going to answer it in 1 of 3 ways. I'm either going to give you the answer, or I'm going to say, hey, I'm not next to my computer. Give me some time. I'll bounce you a response as quickly as I can. Or third, I'm going to say, that's probably something we need to talk about on the phone. When's a good time to chat? So, again, do not be afraid to contact me. And then finally, I am a fast grader, okay? Doesn't mean I'm a foolhardy grader. It means I focus on things. And you're going to see that. You're going to see the level of detail that I provide in your papers and the responses very quickly. And the reason that I do that is because this is only a 7-week course. And if I take my jolly sweet time to get back to you, particularly on the papers, right? Because you're supposed to take my comments and then correct them and then submit them again the next week. If I take my sweet time to do that, then you don't have time to respond. And so make sure that you look at that, particularly on Mondays and Tuesdays. Chances are I will have most of the grading done by Tuesday night, Wednesday at the latest, okay? So that gives you plenty of time to correct your discussion board formats. That gives you plenty of time to correct your papers before you have to submit them the very next time, okay? I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions about that, make sure that you give me a call, all right? I look forward to the next 7 weeks. Chat with you soon.